Okay, Emmy fans, voting starts in just a few days, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus is back in the race for Veep. This is Pete Hammond of Deadline Hollywood. I'm Tom O'Neill of Gold Derby.
Wait, did you say Julia Louis-Dreyfus is back in the race?
Imagine that.
Whoa.
Pete,
shocking.
Is she just like the automatic winner now?
It seems like that. How many has she won? 5?
She's won 7.
But
and
for lead actress.
5 for lead actress. Well,
5.
Yes. Wait, let me get this right.
Isn't that the record? Wouldn't she break the record?
She won a half a one, as I like to tease her in for supporting in Seinfeld. But I believe she's won.
Oh no, I know she won for the other show she did too. But she's won. She's actually one of the few actresses in television history to win Emmys for 3 different comedy series.
Oh, that's right. New Adventures.
New Adventures.
Thank you. That's right. So she's won 5 for Veep and the other 2. She's at 7. The record is Cloris Leachman for 8. Julia has 2 additional Emmys if you're counting producing, because Veep's won the past 2 years.
Yeah, but what's the record for consistent wins in lead actress in a comedy series? I mean, Candice Bergen won 5, right?
Yes. So I think that is the record. So
that
she will
is
be
the
breaking
record.
that this
so
year.
she would break that record, set a record. That's why she'll win.
Yeah. I think that's very possible too, but we also have in the race old Emmy favorites like Lily Tomlin. I'm reading off your list.
Lily is a governor in the TV Academy. She was a governor when I was on the board as well. She's beloved there. It doesn't matter what Lily Tomlin is in. Jane Fonda is arguably as good or better than Lily Tomlin is in that show, Grace and Frankie. She doesn't get nominated.
Yeah, Jane doesn't. Yeah.
But Lily does, and the reason is Lily is in the club. The TV Academy Club, they nominate you. The actors love her that are members of the actors branch in the television business. And Lily that's why she has so many Emmys and what she wins for all kinds of different things.
Right, and so why
this is why she was pulled out of that mix all of a sudden to be a nominee for Grace and Frankie. She's terrific in the show, but so's Jane Fonda. That's why Lily Tomlin is in there and why I will continue to put her on this list.
Allison Janney is suddenly in this list. She did
this was
very brave. She went up from supporting, where she won last year for Mom,
going against
into
her.
lead. This is something Allison Janney did in her West Wing days, where she went from supporting to lead, and she won again.
Very shrewd, Allison.
Allison Janney has 7 Emmys, too, just like Julia Louis-Dreyfus does.
This is the
Both of them are knocking on.
Most interesting thing. I feel sorry for the star of her show. I think the show was designed around
right.
her, and she doesn't get nominated, yet Allison wins in supporting, although she didn't win last year. But going up to lead is a shrewd move and can shake up this race. If anybody could come in and beat Julia, it would probably be Allison Janney.
Tracee Ellis Ross got nominated last year.
And won the Golden Globe.
And won the Golden Globe, that's right, for Blackish, and we expect her to return now.
I do.
You don't think she could? We have this new voting system. Let's talk about it. Where last year we had a surprise, for example, in drama actors for Tatiana Maslany for Orphan Black winning. And what happened there, as we know now, is that it was she had the most #1 votes. The voting changed previously where it was a rank system, and so you had to have consensus. Now you just need a strong core in order to win. So. Yes, Julia Louis-Dreyfus has that and is likely to prevail again. But maybe it's just a case of where Julia Louis-Dreyfus is now your second choice under like the old system. If you're thinking in the old ways, and suddenly you start putting somebody else #1. Who is that someone else at #1 then?
I think when they look down this list, the other person probably would be Allison Janney. Now that she's in this category, I think so. Yeah. Tracy's great, and she could pop if that show starts to pop. It hasn't won anything yet, so I don't know. Is she going to be the one that wins? This has happened in Emmy history before, where the star of the show, the comedy star, in this case Anthony Anderson, doesn't win, but the one that plays the wife, the one that plays the wife gets nominated or wins or comes up. That goes way back to Father Knows Best, when Jane Wyatt used to win Emmys, and it's continued fairly consistently in terms of nominations or wins against that big star of the show. It's the female half.
Issa Rae, you've got on her list. She's kind of like the new big hit girl.
Yeah, and I have to say that this is just a calculation on my part. I haven't really watched that show except the first one, so I haven't watched her as she's gone through the season.
She's positioned as the like ingenue breakthrough star that could happen. I agree with that.
And I think HBO is really behind her, and they have a lot of votes. And I do think that she is the hot new number in this one, the one to look for. Not a winner, but a nominee. I think
she's Catherine Hahn down.
This is Pete going, I love Catherine Hahn, and I think this is my plea to you out there. Watch I Love Dick. It is so sharp and funny, and this is a this is a hell of a performance by her. She's a supporting player in Transparent, and this is from Jill Soloway again, and this is her breakthrough. If she doesn't do it this time, you just wait, because this show's coming back. And she and Kevin Bacon and the guy that plays her husband, they're all great in this show.
Here's where Pete Hammond is officially insane. Because we always knew he was delightfully crazy, but now here's our proof that he's over the edge.
Yeah.
You do not have Ellie Kemper in nominee last year.
Like
somebody I think who actually theoretically could even win here, but you just don't connect with the show, so you're punishing her in your predictions.
It's not that Ellie Kemper, she's terrific. The whole show is fine and everything. I just don't get the Emmy-winning thing on it, and I think it's more Tina Fey's connection to it than anything. I think if Tina Fey were not connected to that show, that you would not be seeing it get quite this bit of Emmy love.
I agree with that, but I think that the fact that she gave it the push to put it into the public eye here in the industry, that gives it the worthy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
But
I don't think the show itself is beyond exceptional. I think it's good.
That's where you're wrong.
And well, I don't know, but brilliant. You know, look, you're probably right on this too. Ellie Kemper gets in, and not my beloved Catherine Hahn. But I think Catherine Hahn deserves it. And
but we're allowed as pundits to put a few of our wish things in here. You know who's not on either one of our lists? That old Emmy grabber, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yes.
Divorce just didn't take off.
Don't think it's connected yet.
Yeah.
I just don't. I watched it, and you know, it's okay, but I think it's a show that needs a little more development. Yeah.
And then among the breakout new stars, we've got Phoebe Waller-Bridge from Fleabag. She's on people's list, but I don't think she's got enough of that.
I've seen the billboard. Good billboard.
They're doing a good campaign for it. So, all right. So it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. We say to tie. Watch out, Cloris Leachman.
To tie
the record for the most. Cloris has 8 in primetime and 1 in daytime.
And to break the record for consistent wins in lead actress in a comedy.
All right, let's talk about Best Actor here.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Tambor's won 2 years in a row. Is it an easy skate for him to number 3?
Well, it could be. He's, you know, look, this is a great role for him. People love him. And he's out and about. I see him everywhere shaking hands and things.
Which is unusual. He wasn't doing that at first.
I know,
when the show
but
was
I see him different places, and I think he's a terrific actor.
It's a big showy role.
This is totally one to continue for him.
Okay, so Donald Glover has the cool show. It's been sweeping the guilds. It did well at the Golden Globes. And if Atlanta wins a top award anywhere, it's likely here, right?
Yeah. A newcomer in the race, and one
producer and everything.
Yeah,
right?
and setting the pattern for future years for him there. I think he's got a shot.
A lot of people, Gold Derby, thinks he's going to be the winner, and I vacillate sometimes here between him and Jeffrey Tambor. Anthony Anderson got his first nomination last year. He's going to be back. We both agree on that, right?
Oh, totally. I think he got his second nomination last year. He was not the only nominee the first season of the show.
Yes, very good. Good catch, Pete. God, what would I do without Pete catching my stupid blunders?
And then he was nominated where Tracy joined him last year.
And the show joined him last year. Yeah.
And this year, if they're smart, maybe Lawrence Fishburne will too, but I don't know that that'll happen. But I think Anthony Anderson is terrific in the show and will be a consistent nominee, but probably not a winner.
You and I both agree Aziz Ansari will be back. Yeah. William H. Macy will be back, especially after his surprise win at SAG. Yes. And your buddy Kevin Bacon with the show you love, I Love Dick.
I Love Dick, Kevin Bacon, terrific. I'm not even sure it's a comedy. I don't even know if it belongs in this category, but he is hypnotic in this. It's a perfect role for him. It's another case of an actor coming along. Kevin Bacon hasn't won show business awards.
No, it's true.
And rarely gets nominated for them. I think this is the role. It may take more than this season for my prediction to come true, but it will eventually, because I think this is a fascinating character.
You don't have Will Forte on your list.
I love Will Forte.
Or Thomas Middleditch.
No.
Why?
I don't know why.
They were nominated last year.
Yeah, Thomas Middleditch for the first time, but I don't know. I just ran out of room, and I had...
That's not an answer. You're sitting in this chair as an authority.
I had to put him...
I don't know.
Well,
Why am I talking to you?
I run out of slots. If you gave me more, I'd put them on there.
That is the problem. Let's talk about that. The Emmys need to expand all of these lists to 10, don't they? All of them.
I mean, there's so much that...
The argument used to be that, well, we can't do that because we're at the Shrine Auditorium. It only seats 5,000 people. Well, now they're downtown in a big arena that seats, you know...
Totally.
7,000
if you use every seat, 7,000.
So there's room now for all the seats for the additional nominees that you would ask. So that argument doesn't hold anymore. No. And now when we see all these streaming networks and all of these sub-cable networks spending big money, putting up great programming, it's frustrating and sad and tragic in a way that they don't often have a chance because there's not room for them at the party.
That's right, and I do think that we could expand this. I'm not in favor of expanding for new categories and things. We're up to 117 Emmy categories now. You know, when I was on the board, it was knocking on 100, and we were trying to end proliferation and go the other way. And now they just seem to, like, you know, they've just added...
They have to, Pete. They have to
They've added
accommodate
music supervisors now have their own category. Okay. Everybody's going to have an Emmy pretty soon. But it's too much because it cheapens the award. But this is my feeling here, that if you nominate 10, that may cheapen the thing too, because you're nominating so many people. However, I agree with you. I think there's so many people that are deserving, and television is its own unique monster that keeps creating bigger and bigger and bigger. There has to be a point where we cut it off, and I think that's the Television Academy's feeling.
Would you agree that 10 is a good place to go next?
I think for certain categories, yeah. I think you could do that with the program categories.
Yeah, I think we have to with the program.
I don't think
why not for the acting, too?
Well, because then it gets to be
give me a real good reason rather than, that's not a reason.
We have to stop it somewhere and still make it competitive and make it something that, wow, this is tough to get into. Because quite frankly...
You're just telling me I don't have enough slots for all of these people.
I don't, but it doesn't mean I'm asking for them.
Why are you restricting the slots for them in the future? Shame on you.
Do I lose sleep at night because I did not predict Thomas Middleditch on Gold Derby? No, I don't.
Well, you should. All of Hollywood is ashamed of you.
Yes.
You know what? I think Neil Patrick Harris has a shot of getting in here for... what is it? Series of Unfortunate Events.
Yes, well, they like Neil Patrick Harris. Yeah.
And we helped him get an Emmy, by the way. Gold Derby did.
Yes.
His very first Emmy. He thanked us in his acceptance speech.
Yes. That's another Netflix show.
That's another
Netflix
show,
is really, could they overtake HBO?
They could. We're both voters. I just got, the 19th package of DVDs yesterday.
I know.
Another huge box of things.
Yeah.
And I think they're smart in the way they're packaging them they're loose, so you kind of scatter them around.
All that stuff, I know.
Instead of, they also gave us the box.
Yeah, well, last year it was 22 pounds I weighed. 22 pounds of DVDs. Yes.
And they get in there for these top nominations for House of Cards, Orange is the New Black, Kimmy Schmidt, and now they have a bundle of new shows. And so they're breaking in with the nominations, but we haven't seen big wins on the...
Just their mailing cost on these DVDs is anywhere between $2 and $4 million, I saw estimated.
Do you know one of the cable networks, I won't name which one, told me recently that their little box, not a big one, just to make it and to send it was more than $1 million.
Yeah. This is like Emmy.
One little box.
Emmy spending has gotten really out of control.
And we should explain that the Emmys are the only major show business award where you actually have to pay to participate. The Oscars are free, the Grammys, the Tonys, the Golden Globes are free. Here there are entry fees, and the reasons that those are justified is there's a screening process and a judging process, and you're administering to these 24,000 people.
And they got 9,000 submissions this year.
Wow.
And that's a big number. So when you are paying for 9,000 submissions, that's something. So it's a big tent that the Emmys have created.
Lastly, Jim Parsons. We used to rule here, and he's...
I think he won enough, and I think Big Bang Theory just doesn't have the mojo for Emmys anymore. I've given up on it. I think it deserves it. It's the #1 show on television, and there's no question about it. And Chuck Lorre, one of these days, maybe he'll find a way to win an Emmy for one of his shows. Mom is his ticket to the Emmys now, just in terms of Alice and Janney. But The Big Bang Theory, other than a few technical things or an occasional supporting nomination, doesn't seem to be there anymore.
What do you think?